Good morning and welcome to my mini webinar on applying the NASM Optimum Performance Model to special populations. I'm a little bit passionate about this subject, so I will do my best to keep it to the 10 minutes as suggested. So I have a little presentation here on my laptop. This is a little bit about me. I am a long-term NASM member and recently became a master trainer. And I really enjoy working with geriatric clients. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of my clients here. And the first thing that I try to establish with trainers when they're asking me about how to work with geriatric clients, I say that Silver Fitness comes in all shapes, sizes, and fitness levels. So we have master athletes such as my client Pam. Her goal was to complete an Ironman at the age of 70, and I'm so excited to announce that this year she did do that. She completed the Ironman Arizona in December, and she finished in under her goal time. So thrilled and excited for her. And this is my client Rodney. He is 93 years old and he's doing a TRX assisted squat. So throw away the perception that your geriatric clients are, confined to a wheelchair or unable to do athletic feats. The key here, and what I find to be so enjoyable, is how do I incorporate the different phases of the OPT model into their program and into their goals and into what is important to them, which for most adults is to prevent falling, to live a longer and healthier life, and to have a great quality of life and to be able to move. So we're going to dig in a little bit in the next few minutes and look at how to do that. So here we've got the NASM OPT model. As you're familiar with, we have the stabilization endurance phase in phase 1. And the goal there is to build a solid foundation for a strength training program. In phases 2 and 3, those are also pretty popular with the trainers that I see who work with older adults and other special populations. We have our strength endurance phase and hypertrophy phase. Where I get questions and concerns from trainers is working with clients in the maximal strength phase and the power phases. So, I have clients who say, well, I'm not going to have my 94-year-old grandmother do box jumps in the power phase, or, why on earth would I have, my 86-year-old little lady with, this frail body, why would I have her train in the maximal strength phase? And so I say, look at the science. And what I love about the NASM OPT model is that, actually our clients, as they age, need phases like maximal strength training, according to research, to prevent osteoporosis or to even slow the rate of osteoporosis. Clients need to lift heavy weights. And of course we want to do that safely, which is why we build up to it into phase 4, but they actually need to lift heavier weights to increase bone mineral density. So it's so fun for me to help others understand why it's important and why each aspect of the OPT model plays into any healthy adult's program. So as I mentioned, I could go on, but I'll try to keep it short. Let's move on to looking at a couple of modifications that I might make in a phase 1 program to modify for special populations. So here we have flexibility. The first thing that I look at is, do they have any contraindications to self-myofascial release? I mentioned osteoporosis a moment ago, and osteoporosis is a contraindication for foam rolling. So always know, after you've done your PAR-Q and your health history with a client, already be thinking, okay, what is not safe for my client to do? What is safe for my client to do? And, get familiar with what medical conditions. So there are a lot of chronic diseases that are present in our older adult population. Get familiar, and if you don't know, that's okay. let the client know that you're going to check up on a few things. That's why we go through the physical activity readiness questionnaire, and you will be sure to, speak with their physician if they need medical release, and get really familiar with what it is that they're doing, if they have any medications that may impair their balance, and always working around the thought of how can I make these exercises positively impact my client's day-to-day life. And through the rest of phase 1, there really aren't any additional contraindications that I would worry about. With plyometric training and speed, agility, and quickness, again, trainers kind of look like, well, I don't know that my client can do a squat jump. Well, that's okay. What I love to do is figure out how to modify the exercise so that I'm still accomplishing the goal of a plyometric exercise, which is to improve the lightness of the movement and to absorb the shock and stabilize the joints. So the squat jump to stabilization, that would be like a typical plyometric exercise in phase 1, you can change that to just having the client squat down, stand, and lower back down to a squat and hold for 3 to 5 seconds. So we're following the protocol of phase 1, and yet we're getting really creative with how we incorporate a movement and progressing as the client progresses. So in phase 2, we're going into strength endurance training. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the slide. And here, if you're familiar with the OPT model, the goal in our strength endurance training is to build upon the stable core that we've created in phase 1 and to start to increase the endurance of the muscle tissue. And we do that with supersetting. And I don't see many contraindications. Again, I'm approaching the phase 2 from the mind of, what's most beneficial to my client. The pace of a workout with an older adult may change. So, for instance, I'm going to use periodization to make sure that I get all of the tenets of the program, but they may not happen every single workout, but I'll make sure that we hit them every single week. And moving on to phase 3, again, this is more of like a traditional, what I'll see an older adult doing in the gym before they work with me. I'll see them performing the resistance training, single exercise sets, 6 to 12 repetitions. So they're typically very familiar and very comfortable with this type of training. And moving into the very scary phase 4 of maximal strength training, we talked about why it's important to incorporate phase 4, provided we have the healthy foundation there. And it can be really fun to help an older adult who's lost some strength to build back that confidence in their ability to still lift heavy objects, or to, with a speed, agility, and quickness exercise, to step away out of the path of an oncoming object. How important is that? How directly does that relate to training their reflexes, which carries them right into driving? Many older adults fear losing their license and their independence because they no longer have those reflexes. So I loved in the gym, get creative and play and correlate it to something that's going on in their life. And then the final phase of training, the power phase. So now we're incorporating all of the work, we're building on everything that's come before. And my client Rodney, who I pointed out to you in the beginning, his goal when I first started working with him was to be able to put his pants on without holding on to something, to steady him. And it's just been lovely to see. He's a snowbird, so I see him 6 months out of the year. And then I give him homework to do while he's away in Wyoming. And it's just lovely to see how his agility, both physical and mental, has increased from following the OPT model over the past 5 years. And I'm happy to tell you that even though he has almost fallen, putting on his pants without support, due to his power training, he called me one day and he said, Mallory, I almost fell, and then I remembered all of those silly exercises that you have me do, and I was able to just put my foot back down gently without hurting myself. So I'll close on that note. And I want to also introduce you to my client, Artie. So we also have, a gentleman who, when he started with me, weighed 315 pounds, and he was 65 when we started training. And through the 2 years' time, he's now 175 pounds. And you can see that he's actually standing on top of a stability ball, which is so incredibly heartwarming and inspirational. And he did this through the NASM OPT model. And you can see where he started and now where he is today. And just a final note, the OPT model has been extremely successful in helping clients from diverse populations to reduce body fat, increase lean mass and strength, and improve performance and overall health. So again, when you're working with older adults, throw any assumptions that you have out the door. I'm going to include my email and my Instagram handle. Feel free, if you have any questions, to reach out to me here. I love to chat and challenge each other to improve what we're putting out there into the social media universe with personal training. And then last, just thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you later.